الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والله أخرجكم من بطون أمهاتكم لا تعلمون شيئا وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة لعلكم تعقلون. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن في الجسد لمضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. There is one thing that all the people in the world are noticing, and that is day by day there is more corruption, mischief. People are losing the peace of mind. And for people to understand this and to realize this, they don't have to be knowledgeable people. They don't have to be educated people. Even those who don't know how to read and write, they live in small villages, they also realize that the corruption is increasing and this world is almost becoming unsuitable for us to be at. If people will have an alternative to go and live somewhere else, they may choose to do so because of the situation of the world and everywhere in the world. It's a position, it's a situation that everyone sees, everyone realizes, and it worries every person. When it comes to the solution, universities are having their research departments work hard on this issue. Scholars, thinkers, politicians, everyone is working very hard towards solving this problem and controlling the situation in this world. But it looks like the more we are using our resources, our abilities, our information, still these things are increasing and they are not getting under control. There is so much technology these days to watch human beings, to control human beings, to stop human beings from doing a lot of things. But it looks like all of these things are failing and they are not bringing the results that the world is looking for. If we quickly look at the method that is being used today in the world for stopping all of this corruption, we would realize one thing for sure, and every person will see it very clearly, and that is every method that is being used, all the effort, energy, time, wealth, and intellectuals, thinkers, scholars, researchers, they all are working only in one direction, and that is working towards machinery, towards things, developing things that will control human beings. None of them is working towards working on the human being himself. All of these directions are going towards only working on machinery. Let's come up with something that will control this human being. But no one is thinking about, let's work on this human being so he won't do this. This is the main point of the failure. And it's a point where they all together almost took it for granted that this is the only way, this is the only solution we have no other solution. So we see that as that is chosen to be the direction for all the thinkers, for all the researchers, for all the people. So that's the only direction that every person is thinking about. Put a satellite to watch people, have camera systems, security systems. I mean, all of these things. What's all of this? This is only working on machinery. So all of this development now will only be adding more machinery in the world. And it's only going to bring some more technology, advancement in the technology. Will be very happy that we have few more things. But the question is, can we really come up with a technology that will control each and every human being in the world? Who's making this technology? Who's coming up with it? And the person who are making it, don't they know how to break it? Who's going to use it on those who are making it? There has to be some people sitting up there and watching. If we are running this masjid, and we have a security system in the masjid, so let's say there are 1,000 people that attend the masjid, but at least there has to be 2-3 people that will be sitting and watching. What if these 2 or 3 people are the ones who are doing all of this? Who's going to control that? Let's say we came up with a system that would control each and every human being in the world. Would this world then be a peaceful place to live in, where a person has no privacy, no security, where a person has no private life? Someone is watching you at all times, even if you're in the bathroom, someone is looking at you. Then of course, we are making this place, this world, to be totally useless for human beings. It's not a place for human being anymore, if that's the method that we are going to use. And the history has proven up to this day, the facts are in front of us, we all see that the method is not working at all. This method is not working. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam to this world. Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam always worked in the same direction of making sure that this world will be a place of peace and a peaceful place for human beings to live in. This is what always Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam did. And this is also guaranteed. We can see the history, we can see the books of religion, and we can see it, as believers, we can see it in Quran al-Kareem. That whenever Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam were obeyed, and whenever people followed Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam, they only got peace of mind. They never lost it. Through following Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam, people always had a better life. They never complained that after following you, we are having more trouble in our life. This never happened in the history. The teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam always brought peace into the world. Yes, when people rejected Anbiya alayhimus salatu was salam, then those people were punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because those were the people who were considered to be the ones who committed the mischief in the world. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed those people because those people are not wanted in this world. In the story of Salih alayhi salatu wassalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَانَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ تِسْعَةُ رَهْطٍ يُفْسِدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا يُصْلِحُونَ. In that town, there were 9 people. These 9 people were always only doing mischief. They would never do anything good. وَلَا يُصْلِحُونَ. Their task was only fasad, no islah at all. So on one hand, Sayyidina Salih alayhi salatu wassalam, he's working towards islah only. That people would do only what's right. There are 9 people that are opposing Salih alayhi salatu wassalam, and they're doing fasad only. Unfortunately, the majority of the people in that town, they followed these 9 people. They did not follow Salih alayhi salatu wassalam. Without going into those details now, we see that Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, they always established peace in the world. Teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam always gave people better life in this world. A life where people will trust each other, where human beings will love being human beings. They would not think, or they would not wish of being animals. A life where human beings would realize that this world is created for them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this world for them to live peacefully in this world. This world is not created for animals. This world is not mainly for the plants. This world is mainly for human beings. هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ لَكُم مَّا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. He is the one who created everything in this world for you. A fact that has been mentioned in Quran. Why Quran is mentioning this fact? Is it science? No. It is the creation of Allah. Takhliq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how He created this universe, that this world, this universe is created for human beings. Which means it's a place where human beings are supposed to be able to live peacefully, and they are supposed to be able to live and perform the ibadah of Allah without any disturbance. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I created this universe for you. خَلَقَ لَكُم مَّا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. And I created you to worship me. Which simply means that this world is created to be a nice place of ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That human beings who would like to do the ibadah of Allah, who would like to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they should be having that peace of mind, that atmosphere and environment and everything that is in their favor, that can allowing them to do the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This world is not a place that would take these things away from us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make this world the place of fasad. But as we see, that really wherever you go, anywhere in the world, we being in this part of the world, sometimes people think, let's go back home, let's go somewhere. You go to those countries and talk to people, they would like to go somewhere else. To the extent that places that we consider them, and they are holy lands. Everyone normally thinks, let me just go and live somewhere around there. And you go and talk to the people over there, they would like to go and live somewhere else. This is because of this fasad, corruption everywhere. Everyone is looking for that peace of mind. And at this time, people are looking for it because people have experienced it. We have seen it. We have seen the time when it was much better than this. This world was much more comfortable for us than it is now. At that time, people never thought that I'm out of place. But now it looks like everyone feels I'm out of place being in this world. I have to be somewhere else. Not in this world. So where all of this corruption is coming from? everyone realizes whether that person has any faith in Allah or not. Everyone realizes that it is from human beings. It's not from anywhere else. This is why all the technology is being used on controlling human beings, not on controlling plants or controlling animals. All the machinery, technology is only for human beings. But unfortunately, most of this time, because people don't know how to work with human beings, they have not taken the lessons from Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, and we always see it in the history. There is something amazing that we always see it in the history, that whenever anyone had any worry about the situation of the world, or situation of their country, or the situation of their town and their land, or the situation of their home, when those people thought of correcting it, and they went away from the teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, they started thinking about it independently from the teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, they always normally came to the conclusion that it looks like, at least, if not all, at least half of the people that are in this home, half of the people that are in this town, half of the people that are in this country, half of the people that are in this land, they need to go away. We have to do something to finish these people. It's been narrated in the history that about 300 years before the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a king of Iran. And Iran of those days, not of these days, which they call it the Persian Empire. Two superpowers of the world, Roman and the Persian. So that superpower and the ruler of that superpower, regardless of how corrupted he himself was, and how much corruption was going within his own home, within his own castle, but it was something that was worrying him, that there is corruption everywhere, and we have to fix it. Now this person is thinking about correcting it totally independently from the teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam. He does not pay any attention to the teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam. So what conclusion he came up with? He divided his country into two parts. There is something that happened in this history, in this world. He divided the country into two parts. And by force, he ordered the country, and everyone in the country, this half is for men only, the other half is for women only. No more mixing of men and women. So that there is no production, there are no more human beings. So finally, when no more human beings in the world, so other things in this world will be able to live peacefully. We are disturbing animals, we are disturbing everything else, we are destroying the water, the chemicals, whatever else. We need to stop human beings from coming to the world. Everyone realizes corruption is from human beings. It's not that Allah is doing something wrong, wal-iyāzu billah. Even a non-believer realizes it's not zulm from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They all know and they all realize and understand it is from human beings. But what's the solution? This is what the solution that person came up with. And he practically did it. He was in power, he divided the country into two. But things that are against human nature, they do not work. Because the people who have to apply these rules in the world, they are human beings too. So things that are against the nature of human being, they will never work in this world. Regardless of how bad the people are, but when you ask them to keep on doing wrong over wrong over wrong, finally someday this person is going to think, for how long I'll keep on doing wrong to my fellow beings? Not only this, if a person is being assigned to kill and torture animals, after some time, he won't feel good about his own action that I have been torturing animals for such a long time of my life. Whenever he will have a difficulty in his life, he will think it's because of me torturing those animals. He will start seeing nightmares. So unnatural things, they do not work. So what happened as a reaction of this? There was a group of people who protested, who thought that this is not practical, this is not something that we can accept. So they killed this king. And the person who came next, he wants to make up for it now. Read the history. He wants to make up for it. So he says, no more need of a marriage anymore. Every man is halal for every woman is halal for every man. Again, something totally unnatural. But this is a reaction of that. When human beings start reacting to things, of course, it's very difficult for us to stay within limits. This is only the beauty of the Sharia, of the Deen of Allah. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. We made you a moderate ummah. Everything is very balanced in this Deen. Everything is balanced. Everything is within adl and justice. There are no extremes. We don't go in any of the extreme in this Deen. This is the beauty. This is one of the beauties of this Deen. And really it is something for us to study the beauties of Islam. And this will be one of the very important beauty of this Islam, where you would not find this anywhere else. Balanced. Everything is balanced. In the days of Jahiliyyah, just a quick example, in the days of Jahiliyyah, we know how people used to treat women. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam came. If it was anywhere else, anyone else in the world, and he would try to work against that, he would just go to the other extreme. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam balanced everything because he's getting the instructions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah, in spite of having the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about how to balance it, when people did not pay attention to it, did not take their lessons from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they reacted to what people in the Jahiliyyah used to do, they started going to the other extreme. And we see the other extreme these days. So this is only the beauty, and it's in every field of life. Sharia is always the most balanced way of life. There can be a better way. So Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, they were sent for Islah. Sometime when we start thinking about this, a question may come to our mind that, Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, did they come really for Islah of the world, for correcting all the situations so that people will have peace of mind in the world and live peacefully with each other? Or Anbiya alayhi salam came for the ibadah? Normally a person would think Anbiya alayhi salam came only for the ibadah, to teach people ibadah. Regardless of what's happening in the world. But you should do your ibadah. Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam are teaching people to pray salah, to keep fast, to pay zakah, and these type of things. What does that have to do with the islah of the world and with the situation of the world? But in reality, when we look at the history, of course, we see, when we look in Quran, we believe in it, that through the teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, there was always peace of mind and people always had a better life. This is a fact that everyone has to believe in. But the question comes, what was so special about these ibadahs that made people change their lifestyles and brought that peace of mind in the world? Do these ibadahs still have the power up to this day? Do they have the power of bringing that peace of mind in the world? Or it was only through that dua, because the Prophet of Allah is there, he's making the dua and his existence is there. This is why Allah is keeping the fasad and keeping all the other things away. No, that is not the reason. We need to understand, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He created this universe for you. Now let's put these ayahs together and understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. He created this universe for you. And He created you for the ibadah. Now we understand this universe was created for human beings to be here and do the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. جَعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا. The whole world is made a masjid for me. This is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam telling us. For me and for my ummah, the whole world is a masjid. Wherever you are not out of masjid. You don't run out of masjid, you can't be at a place in the world where you cannot pray and do the ibadah of Allah. The whole world is a place of ibadah. So this world is designed in such a way that this world was made and is made so that human beings can live in this world and do the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the purpose. Now, if the purpose of this world is not being fulfilled, what will happen? We all know that whatever we have, we buy, there is a purpose behind it. There has to be a use of it. When that thing is useless, then we get rid of it. We don't keep it. Then it becomes a burden. You bought a car. The purpose of having a car so that it can drive you around. Now, you brought the car home and it does not stand anymore. What are we going to do? Okay, park the car here. I'll buy another car. And when this car breaks, then I'll buy the third car. And keep on collecting all of these cars in your yard. And when it doesn't work, you park it there, you bring another car. We never do that. If it doesn't work, try to fix it. You cannot fix it, get rid of it. You have a pen in your pocket. The purpose is so that it would write. When it stops writing, we try to shake it a little bit, try to push it a little bit, do everything we can, it doesn't write. What are we going to do? Okay, keep it here. I'll buy another pen and add into my pocket. So now I'm having two pens. When the second one will stop writing, I'll keep on adding more pens in my pocket. What will happen? At the end, there will be no space for good pens in my pocket. My pocket only has pens that never write. Now these pens are burdened. I have to take care of them. Every time I have to make sure that they are there. It falls down, I have to pick it up. Whatever happens to it now, I have to, it's a burden on me. The best thing for me, get rid of it. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in a hadith, إِنَّمَا النَّاسُ كَالْإِبْلِ الْمَاءِ لَا تَكَادُ تَجِدُ فِيهَا رَاحِلَةً. A time will come when situation of the people will be such that they will be like having 100 camels, none of them is good for riding. 100 camels. A person owns 100 camels. He wants to go somewhere, not a single camel is good for riding. It's just like we can say in our language, just like having 100 cars and not a single of them drives. We may call it junkyard, but this is not a car that a person would think that I'm keeping this car to be in for my use. Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, they always taught us what is the right method of bringing the Islah in the world. And that is, they started with the ibadah of Allah, with iman and ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The question that I was raising here, which normally comes in people's mind when people think about this topic, that okay, with all of this fasad in the world, if we tell people to do the ibadah, to believe in Allah, what good that is going to do towards the Islah of the world? Yes, that will bring more people into the masjid. But what does this has to do with the Islah of the world? This world is created for the ibadah of Allah, for human beings to do the ibadah of Allah, not for animals to do the ibadah, not for plants to do the ibadah, not for the sun and moon to do the sajdah. This world is created for human beings to live here and do the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the purpose of this world. If human beings will do what they are supposed to do, the whole system will run perfectly because everything is in place. The purpose of the world is being fulfilled. Otherwise, everything in this world will complain. The animals complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, we are serving human beings, but what human beings are doing? Plants are complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are serving human beings, we were created for human beings to serve them, but what human beings are doing? Sun, moon and stars will complain. Everything will complain. فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنظَرِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, where there are people, when they die, the heaven and the earth, they never cry over them. They never cry. In fact, the hadith tell us that the earth waits for those people to come so that it will punish them as severely as it can, because these people were disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which means there are people, when they die, the people of Iman, the people of Salah, those people who are doing what they're supposed to do in this world, when they die, the heaven and the earth, they both cry for those people's death. Not only human beings. Even the heaven cries and the earth cries. The sky cries. Everything cries. فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ. But when those people who are doing fasad in the world, when those people who are not fulfilling the purpose of their existence in the world, when they die, then the heaven and the earth don't cry for them. This is Quran. So this world has a purpose. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this world for a purpose. As we fulfill the purpose of the existence of this world and of us to exist in this world and to live in this world, then everything will be good, because the purpose is being fulfilled. The machine is working properly, you are having the production, everything is working perfect. If all the machines will start working the same way, the owner is happy and everyone is pleased. The workers are happy, they are making their money. Everyone is happy. But if the machines don't work, and it's 100,000 square feet, it's all full of machines, there is only one that works, and the rest of them, the whole space filled with machines, none of them works. Everyone will complain. There is no purpose of having it. It's a burden now. Now we will start having violations, and every problem you will have with that. This is what's happening. And this is what Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam taught us. That through the ibadah of Allah, everyone is being put to work and put to fulfill the purpose that he was sent in this world for. And when these ibadahs are not being established in human beings' life, then these people are useless. This world is a junkyard now. And we can't afford to have the whole world to become a junkyard. We can't make the whole world to be a cemetery. There has to be places designated only for those. But when the whole world is becoming like this, when every person in the world is running away from fulfilling the purpose of his existence, no one would like to do and wants to do what he's supposed to do. then of course fasad will come, then corruption will come, then problems will come. So whenever people think about this field, they think about this subject independently of the teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, they always make a mistake. They will always be working on something else. Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, subhanallah, we see, whenever a prophet of Allah came, he never made a mistake of saying, first thing, let's put a big fence around this town, so no kafir will come into our town. Close your doors. Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam never worked on these things. They started their beginning and the end of their work. From the beginning to the end, everything they did was they were working on human beings. Oh people, you correct yourself. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned this whole secret in few words. Inna fil jasadi la mudghah. There is a piece of flesh in human body. إِذَا صَلُحَتْ صَلُحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. If that piece of flesh is correct, then everything, the whole body will be correct and everything will be good. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ. And when that is corrupted, when that piece of flesh is corrupted, then the whole body will be corrupted. Then all the actions will be corrupted. Then everything from this person will be corrupted. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبُ. He says, listen carefully. Allah. Allah means pay attention. Listen carefully. وَهِيَ الْقَلْبُ. That is your heart. Don't work on machines. Work on your heart. Work on the hearts of human beings. If this human being will correct his heart, then all of his actions will be corrected. There will be no need to have a machine to control this person. And if his heart is corrupted, then bring as many machinery as you want, he will do what he wants. A secret that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have revealed to the world in few words. No need to have all of that researches and departments to do all of this research and spend millions of dollars. No need for thinkers now to waste their energy on thinking of what to do. All the solutions are there in front of us. All we have to do is work in the right direction, use the teachings of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, and tell human beings that all human beings from now on, instead of working on machinery and correcting these machinery and working on advancing those things on machinery, work towards fixing yourself so that you don't do anything wrong. This is the thing that we all need to do. Work on ourselves, work on our hearts. إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. This is hard. This is everything. And if human beings, we see that now, human beings are the source of all the corruption. It's not that the whole world understands that, as we just studied that. The whole world realizes that. So if human beings are the source of it, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, just work towards correcting human beings. Once human beings are corrected, everything will be corrected. Once there was an article on the internet about a person coming back home from work, being very tired. And as normally is the lifestyle of the people that once you come back home, you're tired, just sit on your living room with the TV in front of you and papers in your hand or magazine, or newspaper or magazine. And tell children to sit in their room, play with Game Boys or watch TV or cartoons, something, so that they get busy, they don't disturb you. And the person is sitting there and he's relaxing. This is relaxing for a lot of people. So there he's relaxing. And his child comes and says, Dad, I have a question to ask you. And he says, son, just go, do your thing. I have no time. I'm too tired right now. And the boy keeps on coming back and forth to his father and he keeps on bugging him, Dad, please, just tell me one thing. And he doesn't have, no, just go away. I have no time. And finally, at the end, when he sees, his son is just after him and is bugging him, and he would like to keep him away some way, somehow he would like him to stay away. So he sees a picture of a glove in the newspaper that he was reading. So he takes the picture of that glove and he tears it into too many pieces, small pieces, and he gives it to his son. He says, son, go and put this glove together. Once you have put it together, come back to me and I'll answer your question. So the boy, he has no choice. This is what dad says. So he says, okay. He takes that picture. And to his father's surprise, a little later, the boy comes back and says, Dad, I have put it together. And he looks at it and he was amazed. He really did it. How did you know the picture of the whole globe? How did you know the geography so much that you can put everything where it's supposed to be? So he says, son, how did you do it so nicely and so easily? He says, Dad, on the other side of the paper, there was a picture of a man. So I put that picture of a man together. When I put that together, the whole world came back together. If a man will be where what he's supposed to be, the whole world will be where it's supposed to be. If man is corrected, the whole world is corrected. And for working on human being, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Al-qalb. Work on people's heart. Let people clean their heart and purify their heart. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Facts that are mentioned in Quran so beautifully, so nicely, only if we go back and believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and take lessons from Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all of us to Salat al-Mustaqim and give us tawfiq to understand the deen of Allah and do what we are supposed to do with this life. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.